Okay.
And I should be joined by my colleague Mark
Okay.
Manantan.
Okay, we can wait then.
Well, we can get started
Oh,
actually. I
okay.
know you have a busy, yeah. So thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
I know you have something right after this.
You can record
Um,
if you like,
okay. Thank you.
because
That would make it
if
more
Mark missing
easier.
something, then
Yeah. Okay. I'll just hit record
yes, I guess.
then. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
All right. So I would just really like to understand the landscape in Indonesia when it comes to data protection, but also the development of ethics in AI.
Okay.
So if you could provide that overview to start us off, that would be great.
Okay. Very simple overview. We can check over Google. Sorry, I'm still okay. We can just googling. Okay. The Indonesian what is citizen card or something? It's called eKTP, and we get a lot of it. Very easy. So there is no data protection whatsoever, no privacy. Everything is very transparent. Okay, and then within a family, the government have like family card. Okay, within the card you can check the name of the father, mother, son, and everything. So it's called kartu keluarga. Keluarga. So we can Google everything. This is Googling. Okay. Now, other thing. So people very happy to publish thing on social media about these things. The other thing is more scary. For example, member of armed forces or police, they have special card. Okay, so we can check the card to the armed forces is TNI, right? Tentara Nasional Indonesia. So we can get their card like this. Very easy. Okay. If we want to get it from Play Store, yes, you can get it from Play Store. Don't worry. Google Play Store, google.com. Check eKTP. So everything is very transparent. So lots of application on eKTP, we can see more, lots of application, and all we need to do just enter what's that? Enter the number of the person or and then it will show everything about the person. So the card is there. So this is only like few. Very simple and very effective.
So we have something similar in Malaysia, yeah, where
Oh, okay.
we also have a card. I actually haven't tried Googling our IDs online, but now it's making me slightly concerned. So, um, is there any effort to try to protect this data that's available, especially as Indonesia is moving along with its policies with for IR and all that?
uh, what? Very tough questions. Uh, I should very honest to you. Eh? Well, okay, the parliament is trying to create what's that? An act for data protection and privacy, but they still fighting with each other, especially with the what's that? Uh, the security bodies. Like we have the cyber security bodies, we have the military, and a lot of ministries. They they need to access the data, and the parliament trying to protect the data. So they are fighting with each other. So they never come up with the act actually. So there is no act. So there is an
But
effort,
it's being
but it doesn't work.
okay. But but it's being discussed and debated, yeah. So,
Yeah.
what what is your assessment of whether it will go through or not?
Okay. It. I think in Indonesia people tend to use force. For example, uh, if something happens, it's actually happening with my wife as well. Uh, some people can collect or they hack to online store account and get the phone number and whatever, including my wife phone number. They can get those things. Uh, Phone numbers easy to get because some, I don't know, maybe bank or whatever, they actually sell the phone number of their customer. So the phone number is published. Okay, now they actually doing they social engineering. It's the term in hacking. So they do social engineering, and they actually uh, cheat people, including my wife. She what? She what? Uh, got stolen about what? 3 million rupiah, 3 or 4 million rupiah. So it's happening. A lot of people get this kind of problem. I am quite fortunate because what I do is very simple. I just so we do force. We the solution is by using force. So what I mean is I just publish on Twitter saying that please be careful with this such and such uh, online store, and then they are very afraid. And then at first, when my wife complained, they said, "Well, the money has been transferred to this person." But actually, he actually was it doing social media with my wife, social media, social engineering with my wife. So that's what they said. They cannot help. After I published on social media, they call me and they call my wife, and she said, "Okay, we managed to get the money back, and then we transfer the money to you." So we use that kind of force. So actually, the data, our privacy is uh, no privacy basically. So we have to use what's that? It's not a written law. It's more uh, consensus among the society to protect ourselves. So we cannot rely on the written law in these things. I don't
Because
know.
as you said, there's no written law yet, yeah.
Yeah. Even if we report to the police, they will not take any action.
Okay. But my colleague Mark has just joined us.
Good morning.
Mark,
Oh,
we just got started
yeah.
not
Good
too
morning
long
or good
ago.
evening, Mark.
Would you like to introduce yourself, Mark?
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Mark. I'm from the Philippines. I'm working as a research consultant for Elena on this project, and I'm currently based here in Honolulu. Pardon if I was late. I was looking for the Zoom invite, and I'm very excited to hear your thoughts and perspectives on this. I think we had a lot of interviewees from Indonesia already on this topic, and we see a lot of momentum from Indonesia and would
Okay.
like to hear your unique takes on this one.
I hope they are much better than me. I am more brutal actually.
The more
Like
brutal,
brutal.
the better.
Exactly.
We like it here. I like my laksa spicy. I
Oh,
like
okay.
my tong.
So, Mark, Pak Onu has very kindly actually encouraged us to record this in case we miss anything, which is why this is being recorded.
Oh, thank you.
Um, so, I guess, Pak, where do you see Indonesia's trajectory on data protection? I know you're a bit pessimistic right now.
Oh,
But there's with the other Indonesian interviewees we spoke to, they talked about how some of the legislation that's being debated, at least, is modeled somewhat on the GDPR, but tweaks to Indonesian context and local circumstances. So, where do you see the data protection landscape in Indonesia in the next 10, 20 years?
oh well, okay. I think if I understand, we have three type of law. Okay, one is the law of God. We cannot escape from that. So I will not talk about the law of God. The second one is the written law and the unwritten law. Okay, we can play between these two. Okay, the written law is being debated and they are working on it. I'm not sure when they will finish because the money to write a law, the just to be honest, to write a law, it requires a lot of money. We have to pay the parliament to sit and read the draft, and that takes a lot of time and money. And the money is now goes to COVID. So no money for that kind of law. So what I do, what most of us do, we do unwritten law, which is more consensus among us. So what I do actually, I teach people how to do self-defense on the internet. Very simple. So if you can protect your own data, if you understand how the hacker works, and you can do self-defense on your own. I'll show you how. So the landscape is more on the self-defense sides, more on the unwritten law. I will show my what's it? This is my university. We have open course on ITT. My university is Institute Technology in Tangerang Selatan, and we have an open course which we open all our courses online and free. We don't people don't have to pay. And in this course, okay, there is internet safety. Where is internet safety? This one. This is for end user on internet safety, on how to protect themselves from cybercrime. So why I make this kind of course? Because a lot of the companies, bank, many of them actually ask me to give what webinar for their employer or employee. I mixed up. Okay, between the two. So when I asked them how many people I have to educate, they said 3,000. Okay, I'm in trouble. This is the Telkomsel, the Indonesian Cellular Network, and the other bank is a couple of thousand. And then I said, okay, forget it. I will write this course for free. Ask your employer to finish the course. If you see the course, at the end of the course, people can start what's that? Finishing the quiz, having the mark from the quiz, they can report to the management, so the management can see the landscape. So it's very much unwritten. We try to educate them to protect themselves to work on the internet because this is at the moment people work from home, and that's creating a problem for many of this company because most of the IT people from this company normally protect the people in the office, but now because of work from home, they have to protect these people from home, and that's difficult. So we are more on the self-defense side for the people. So different approach.
Okay. So far, I know you're an engineer and you do all the techie stuff behind the scenes with the computer. So I want to understand a little more about where Indonesia is heading with AI and ethics.
Okay.
Um, what we've heard with from discussions with some other experts in the region is that for some countries like Vietnam, even for Malaysia, the idea of ethics, there's awareness of it, but there's not quite certainty about how to apply ethics in AI right now. What's the case for Indonesia? I know you've also talked about and written about the sheer diversity in Indonesia, languages, ethnic groups,
Yeah.
etc., etc. Um, how are all these groups adequately represented by AI algorithms or not represented, as the case may be?
So we are more focused on the ethics, right?
Yes.
Not the
Yes.
technology. Okay.
Well, yeah, ethics of technology, I guess. However,
Let me show you something. When I give a talk, a webinar to these people, normally I talk something like this. Okay, we check one of the our online store and then see their advertisement. This is the advertisement, and then I ask the people to write a note in the chat box. The question is very simple: Is every is the advertisement for everyone same or different? And then people start typing, okay, different. Okay, so people understand every single person will receive different advertisement. And then I ask them again, how can they understand, how the online store understand each people is different? Then they start answering, okay, through history, through what we order and everything. Then I tell them this is AI. Then, oh, okay, so this is because if we talk about AI, they don't understand what is AI. When I give them example like this, then they understand. The other example, more brutal example, is Google Maps. Then they are very afraid. Okay, in Google Map, I normally show them the congestion in on the road. Let me show. Let me see. Okay, this is. Oops. Oh, this is the transit, the traffic.
the infamous budget.
Yeah, infamous macet from Jakarta. And then I told them, okay, this is the green one is very, oh, what's that? Not macet, very lancar and everything. The red one is macet. And then I asked them, how can Google understand that certain road is jam, the other road is okay? And then people said, okay, through the satellite, Google has its own satellite. It's very scary. Eh? And then I said, no, 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 no. It's very simple. Your phone is reporting to Google. This is Internet of Thing, and then Google do classification. That's AI. How can and then I tell them Google can predict. Google can become a dukun. He can predict the traffic for tomorrow. For example, we I will travel from Tangerang, which is a city near from Jakarta, to Jakarta direction. And then so I basically I give them example. This is the traffic. How about if we leave depart at tomorrow? Google can still predict the traffic for tomorrow. Okay, let me see this one. This is, oh, sorry. Let me change the time so we can see the macet. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is Saturday. So Saturday is everything is okay. Sunday is okay. Let me show you this one. This is more brutal. This is Monday. Oops. Oops. Oh, this is traffic jam here in Monday. So we can see traffic jam on Monday morning. It doesn't happen yet. It's not happening yet. But Google understand. And then I tell them why. Okay, because uh, I'll show my timeline, and then Google actually monitoring what we are doing. So AI is recording need the our history, and then I show them this is where am I in the last couple of years, and then I can check at this date I travel from this site and this site, and then this becoming very scary. So I need to show them how it works, and then they after that they understand. Oh, okay, AI will collect our data and uh, Then we can talk about ethics and so on. So I cannot talk about ethics right away before I give them the example. At the moment, we are not we Indonesian is not really talking about ethics. We are more talking about how AI works because we don't know AI yet, including the army, the state bureaucrats, and everything. They don't understand AI. They know there is a thing called AI, but they don't know how it works. They want to buy AI. That's it.
So, Pak, like with Bukalapak, Tokopedia,
Hmm.
Gojek, and all that,
Hmm.
the uh, the data that's collected to train the algorithms,
Yes.
um, obviously most of it is in the urban areas, yeah, not so
Uh,
much the rural areas.
uh, Not open actually. When they collect the data, like Gojek and everything, Bukalapak, Tokopedia, they collect on their own server.
Okay,
So they are not collecting the open data. So they collect their own
right,
server. And some of them actually share a little bit of data for student to work for project, final project, and everything. So they have some example of data
right.
for student to access, but not all the data.
But that data is from their users, right? From existing
Exactly
users.
for their
And
from their
so most of
users.
those users are based in the urban areas.
Or the user is in open area, yeah. But the data is what the data that they are collected is the data uh, in their application. When the user
Right.
use their application, they collect the data. So they are not collecting the data from other application. For example,
Yeah.
Bukalapak collecting the data from Facebook, not really that way.
Okay. So that means that I assume most of their users are in the major cities, yeah. Jakarta,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and not so much in some
In
of the like pendalaman
yeah,
in the
no,
smaller areas.
no,
Okay.
because
So
it's more
it's not,
expensive as well for
yeah,
sending the goods.
data. Yeah.
So people are not the people in kampung,
Yeah.
in remote island, they are not really using the online store because it's more expensive to send the goods to remote islands.
Okay. So that means all of these algorithms that the Indonesian companies are using, the big ones that we talked about, they're all basically locally designed and locally trained, right? The
Yes,
algorithmic sets, because
yes,
all the data is local.
yes, and they make a lot of money because of that.
But they don't share. So in a way there's data protection, right?
Actually, Bank Indonesia, they actually Bank Indonesia ask this what's it online store to share their transaction data with Bank Indonesia because Bank Indonesia wants to monitor the digital economy of Indonesia. So yes, they share with Bank Indonesia, but I don't think they share with many others.
I'm sorry, just to butt in, you mean Bank of Indonesia,
Bank of Indonesia,
right?
yes. The Indonesia,
Okay.
the what's it?
The central
Government,
bank.
the highest.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
so if you talk with the statistical division of Bank Indonesia, they have a lot of data on this one because they actually
Mm,
what grab the
mm,
data from these online stores. They ask the
mm-hmm.
online store to share their transaction data with Bank Indonesia, so they know what happened. It's cool actually.
What about a company like Grab? Because Grab is regional. Yeah, so there's Grab in Indonesia, there's Grab in the Philippines.
Oh,
Does
okay.
Grab Indonesia keep the data of Indonesians in Indonesia?
I don't know about Grab. Bank Indonesia actually tapping the data from the online store like Bukalapak, Tokopedia, and those kind of thing, like the local. Well, it's no longer local actually.
Right.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mark, I know you have questions. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Elena, and thank you, Uno. I think my question is they're in Indonesia, given that sort of co-sharing that the Bank of Indonesia and the government and the private, tech startup companies
Yes.
are in a way co-sharing data.
Yeah.
And what do you think will be the challenge given that you mentioned that currently Indonesia doesn't have a written law on on these things?
Okay.
And so what do you think would be the challenge to the privacy of consumers, to the security and integrity of their data, especially if, for example, I think as a consumer myself, it would be my last concern if my data is being shared to the government, if I'm just buying a milk tea from a delivery. But you mentioned that Indonesia doesn't have the law to
Yeah.
protect me. So how will that present any what challenges or complications do you see in that kind of, arrangement, especially also, you said that bureaucrats don't understand what's AI. They don't understand what Internet of Things are.
Yeah.
So, with this in mind, what challenges will Indonesia face given that this is now happening, but ordinary people, in, at least in the urban areas, don't have law to protect them?
Yeah. Uh, to be honest, they don't care actually. To be honest, they
Mm,
don't care. The people don't care. What they okay. What happened is, fortunately, there is very small number of data analysis expert in Indonesia. So the expert on data analysis very small number, and they are rare. For example, the other day the government, the Indonesian government, they have e-procurement body. Okay, I was talking to this group of the procurement body, and they asked me, Ono, can you find us three data analysts? We cannot find. Only three they cannot find. So data
mm,
analyst job is open. So fortunately, it's very rare. Because of the rareness of the data analyst, so even if they have this data, uh, extracting the information, or classification process or forecasting from this data is very tough because not many people understand. The other day, I the vice president office, the staff member of the vice president asked me to tell them how uh, AI works. Okay, and I show them how it works. I show them. I actually do programming in front of them. When I do programming, I will use this kind of software. I will show you the software a little bit. It's called Orange Data Mining. So this is like the vice president office staff member, and I show them how to do programming using this graphical type of programming like this. And then after that, oh, okay, so that's how AI works. So they just know, oh, okay, this is AI. And then, okay, then we need to collect data. Based on the data, then we can do classification. So they
mm,
still at that kind of stage. So people doesn't care actually because they are
mm,
they don't understand as well. So we are okay.
mm,
Unfortunately, some of the big company, because of this condition, they actually exploit the these people data. For example, the telecommunication company, they have a lot of money, and they can exploit the transaction process from their traffic. So they can they do classification they do classification of the customers of the telecommunication company. I will not tell you which one.
mm,
Actually, all of them actually.
So, but just to follow follow up on that, maybe just to be a little naughty. What do you think of the presence of foreign big tech companies like Facebook and Google, etc., operating in Indonesia and collecting the data of Indonesians?
To be honest, the- what the people needs is like user experience. As long as Google give us a good user experience, good user what's that? Anyway, if we can get good service, they don't care. Uh, so if they take our data and we get receive the good service because they can classify the personalize the service to us, it's okay. But not but I was thinking something, then I lost. There's a but I lost. What it is? Sorry.
No, completely okay. It happens to me a lot too. Um, so there are these charges of neo-colonialism where these big tech companies operating
Oh,
in
okay, okay,
India.
okay. There
Okay,
is a but. Okay.
okay,
The government they actually don't care about the data privacy or data taken by Google or this big company. As long as they pay tax, that's it. Everything is finished. So what they need is money. As long as Google, Facebook, everything, they pay tax, that's it. Your problem is solved. That's serious. The government is looking a way to calculate how much tax the Google, Facebook, and so on have to pay to the Indonesian government. They actually calculating, and they trying to persuade the telecommunication company to give the traffic data, how much traffic, advertisement traffic generated by Google or initiated by Google to the Indonesian publics. And based on that traffic, they try to calculate the how much tax Google have to pay. So that's what happened. It's more on money. It's not privacy.
but so the Indonesian government would have to collect a lot of taxes, right? Because the data from Indonesians, so many Indonesians, is being monetized on a daily basis. And the Indonesian government is only collecting a fraction of those taxes.
Yeah, because they don't know how to what's that calculate how much advertisement Google generate from the Indonesian customer. They cannot calculate. So Google
Yeah,
can, yeah,
I think this is very interesting that you brought this up because um, I mean, Elaine and I share so much commonality in our research interest, and just recently, Facebook and Google has built a very big submarine cable lines.
okay,
In our coastline in Southeast
sure,
Asia and linking us to here in California, there in California.
yes,
And what you said is really for me a bomb. It's like a bombshell because if Google can collaborate, for lack of a better term, conspire with telcos, they won't. The telcos will just say, okay, let's just um, befriend Google and let's give the government not the actual
yeah, like fake number.
calculation. Yes. So how do you see that happening in Indonesia that this, because at least from our perspective, Indonesia is like we're gonna localize data, we're gonna build data centers, blah blah blah, and Google, Facebook, your data will be in this country. But with what you said, there is a possibility that both can conspire and on the surface, yes, give the government data localization, but in fact, with the potential arrangement, allegedly, these tech companies can actually circumvent the data localization law of Indonesia.
Exactly.
Would
Okay,
you would you agree?
very agree. And even worse than that. Even worse than that,
Mm,
actually. I'll show you another thing. uh, this is what uh, uh, this is what Facebook is working on. I'm part of it actually. uh, this is Telkom
Oh,
infrastructure project. Okay. In short, they actually helping the rural area to have
oh,
their own telecommunication infrastructure. So Facebook actually sponsoring this project, telecom infrastructure project. If we go to telecom infrastructure project, we can see a lot of project, fixed broadband, open core, optical network. This is Open RAN, it's 5G, and we
open
can
run.
build our
Yeah.
own network. One of the example is the Indonesian Open BTS Papua, and this has been running for what 7 years, 8 years now, and now we modify into 4G, 5G now. Okay, uh, the point is we educate people how to build our own network, and the network is no longer attached to the Indonesian operator. So this is our own network. The backbone, the international backbone of this one is actually directly to international network. So yes, actually, we actually building. It's bypassing the operator actually, and the government have has no longer grip into the network if they do the business as usual like right now. So I fully agree with you. And today we actually have what's it? Competing competing maybe process between the operator and the community. Like let me show you another thing. This is on the ground actually. So this is like the 5G in rural area in village, and this network is the longest running cellular network in the village, operated by the villager in the world. It's located in Papua. This is the longest running. Philippines has like what, nine of it. Indonesia has now close to 20 right now. Okay, now
Oh,
uh, I show you other thing. We actually building fiber optics into villages. Let me search my friend Doni Tambas. This is the guy. This is one of the example. Okay, Doni is. Let me see. Okay, let me see if I can see his. Okay, so he's running fiber to houses in villages. This is one example. There's many more people like him now pulling fiber into villages now. Okay, because the operator doesn't want to go into villages because they think they cannot make a lot of money. So people in village
yeah.
actually running their own fiber because fiber costs about what? 2 cents. 2 cents? 2.000 rupiah is sorry $1. 20 cents, something like that. Less than $1 lah per meter. So it's affordable. So people building fiber now, and people building 4G now on their own. The equipment. Oh, I have to show you the equipment cost. It's more brutal than that.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Uh, Blade RF. This is the 5G. The what's that? The 5G main component for 5G. Okay. Go to shops. One this one, maybe, for example, it's cost only like $700. So it's quite affordable. It's about two smartphone, and we can get one of this 5G uh, BTS. So yes, we built these things.
This is amazing.
Oh, amazing! Don't worry, we are crazy.
But don't you have to connect it to like a bigger cable to connect the villages
Yeah,
to faster
uh,
net?
the Open BTS in Papua actually is not connected to fiber. They go to satellite, but this is
Um,
international satellite. So this actually against the law, but well, it works. Now the problem is not that when we build this kind of thing, we need phone number, right? And we ask the phone
Mm,
number to the
yeah.
Indonesian operator. They will not give us the plus 62 number. Okay, ask the operator, they will not give us the number. Ask the government, they will not give us the number. So our number is plus one. Don't worry,
No,
we are on the
I,
same continent.
how was that number given?
Plus one is as long in plus one, as long as you pay, you get the number. That's it. Finish. Eh,
Oh, that's the beauty of capitalism.
yes, this very capitalism near you. So it's
Yeah.
helping us actually.
So this is not very capital intensive at all, building your own network.
No, 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 no. Very cheap.
Wow.
Fiber optic costs about like 20 million rupiah. What's it? Two, 2000, 1000 something US dollar per village. So it's
Mm.
affordable.
I never knew this. And so all these telcos that are building their networks are just ripping us off.
Uh,
Actually, the Open RAN project was
yes,
actually the proposition of the US, where they wanted because of Huawei and all these
exactly.
things happening.
And we
They
get
want
the
to
benefit.
democratize, and then now they're actually pioneering this open source Open RAN model where
Yes,
it's not just going to be Huawei who's gonna, hmm,
yes.
we could,
So
yeah.
it benefit us actually. If the government do the business as usual right now, Huawei will take all the infrastructure right now in Indonesia. So
Huawei will take the infrastructure.
actually, to be honest, most of the Indonesian infrastructure is run by Huawei right now. So many of us, the bad guys, actually we go for open RAN, we build our own network and so on. So we are
Mm,
out of government. We are not within the government.
But the issue part is interoperability, right?
Yeah,
Some of these systems don't work very well with each other. If there are legacy systems, if Huawei has legacy infrastructure in
yeah.
Indonesia, and then there's a switch to Open RAN, particularly with the US trying to decouple from China,
Mm.
won't there be interoperability issues 5, 10 years down the line?
As long as they follow the like the standard protocol, like for example, to interact within among them, they have to follow the session initiation protocol SIP. If they follow the same SIP, the equipment can talk to each other. So we follow that kind of stuff.
And that's where the standards discussion comes in.
Exactly.
So is there right now an attempt by the US or other countries to change those standard operating protocols?
Well, it's part of the IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force, and we meet like what, two, three times a year, talking about the standard. So the standard is like collective, uh, common standard among us. So it's by collective decision. So Huawei has to follow this standard as well. Within that network, within their network, they can use their own standard. But to interact with others, they have to follow the international standard. And to be honest, because I'm an engineer, I actually play with these things. I tend to follow the international standard because it's more open source and everything. So it's easy for us to grab the technology and play with it. So we
So
move
that
forward
makes,
from AI. Eh?
yeah, no, this is really, really very useful for us because, as I mentioned in the proposal summary, part of it is also to raise awareness about the importance of standards.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay, okay. Yes.
and for Southeast Asian countries to be active in the standards discussions. But
Yeah.
like with ITEF and some of the other standards bodies, ISO and all that, the experts are usually individual experts, right, based on
Exactly.
their own fields. They're
Yes.
not country representatives
Yes.
necessarily.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So there's a certain level of politics being shielded from some of these standards discussions.
Uh, what do you mean? What?
So, like the US sometimes accuses China of populating some of these standards bodies with Chinese representatives and experts.
Oh,
Uh, is that because of politics? Is that because of their own expertise?
to be honest, I have no idea about that.
Okay.
I cannot
Okay.
comment on that one. I am involved with IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force, in the Gaia, Global Access Internet for All. So they have a group called Gaia, Global Access Internet for All. That's how I also share how we actually build the internet in rural Indonesia. I give you example. Very simple example. Okay, this is how we build these things. Okay, you know the Indonesian wok for cooking. Okay, it's called wajan. Okay, for same cooking, and then we use it as parabolic, so we call it what wokbolic. Okay, if we see the image, okay, look at the wording. This is Indonesian, 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 Indonesian. We going down. Indonesian, 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 going down. Indonesian, Indonesian, Indonesian. Everything Indonesia. Everything Indonesian. This is how we actually spread the standard. Okay, we educate people and becoming a consensus among us that we can build a long-range Wi-Fi network using WOC.
Mm, got it.
So all Indonesians, don't worry. The Indonesian is quite crazy on this one.
Mm,
So the kitchen, uh, mom in the kitchen, be aware Indonesia because we may steal your wok.
mm.
Do you see many Indonesians and other Southeast Asians in the task forces that you're in, the standards bodies that you're in, Pak? Apart from yourself?
In Philippine, I forgot the name, her name. A group in Philippine. There is one a group in Philippine. They are the one who built the what's that? 5G in rural area, and they have to face with the Philippine government. I forgot her name. In Thailand is Kancana. Let me show you uh, her name. Kancana from AIT. Kancana AIT. There she is. So this is the person from Thailand. I am the person from Indonesia. But to be honest, most of sorry, most of the others are more polite. I'm quite brutal. I normally head on with the government, and
Mm, yeah.
I'm not really shouting to the government, but I say, okay, this is what Indonesian people do. And that's what happened when we actually liberating Wi-Fi frequency. We fight with the Indonesian government. I think that's the only country in the world that fight with the government to liberate frequencies.
Mm,
And this is
mm,
really fighting. The way we
mm,
fight is so if you know in the past 20 years ago we have to pay per access point per hotspot. The Indonesian have to pay to the Indonesian government 2,000 US dollar per year per hotspot, and we fight. You know how to fight? Very simple. I write books about uh, how to build uh, a long distance high speed internet using Wi-Fi. Okay, having read the book, people start stealing the frequencies.
mm,
So I make the knowledge transparent. Everybody get the knowledge, and people start stealing the frequencies, and the government confused. And then what happened
mm,
is, we have WISIS, right? World Summit on Information Society, organized by IT or whatever. And then the first WISIS, Swiss and Canada sending me a ticket. Oh no, can you go to Swiss and telling people how you do it? Oh, thank you very much. two tickets. So I go to Swiss and tell people how to do these things. And then after that, many president leaders ask me, "Oh no, can you go to my country, telling people how to steal the currency?" Okay, I go. So
mm,
after the second visit, the Ministry of at that time still transportation, Hatta Rajasa, signed an act. Wi-Fi is free because of the international pressure. So that's
mm,
how to what's that? How to the strategy on how to change the law. Basically, we have three options in changing the law. We can have power. For example, I am a minister. I have the power to change the law, right? I'm not a minister. I'm only a normal human. Okay. The second one, if we have a lot of money, yes, we can change the law if we have a lot of money. I have no money, so I cannot use power. I cannot use money. The third one, if we have mass, so I write books. I create the mass. The mass will create a big force to the government to change the law.
mm, mhm, mhm,
This is a true old school innovation spirit of engineers and computer technicians
Yes.
pre the
yeah,
internet, right?
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
This is what you call copyleft, yeah, Pak, instead of
Yeah.
copyright.
Yeah. Basically, we create a mass because of the copyleft. We create a mass, and the mass will create a big pressure to government, and then they will change the law.
mhm,
I think that's the same thing with AI and everything. If we need to change, we have to create a mass, then we change.
mm,
So, Mark, in the Pak Ono shared a very interesting draft that he's written. I don't know, Pak, if I have your permission to share it with
Oh,
Mark. It's
welcome.
only
Yeah.
okay.
You are welcome to share to everyone in the world.
It's only a draft, so I wasn't sure. Thank you for sharing it with me.
Well, share it. Don't worry about that.
mm,
Okay. So, in this article, Pauno talks about the mindset, right, of data protection and AI and all that, and how it's different from developed countries. Those in developing countries differs from developed countries. Um, but do you see this changing as our societies in Southeast Asia mature?
if if the society maturing, like especially the education level, if the education level increase, then it will change. Do you know the statistical of the education in Indonesia? It's scary actually. You don't know, eh?
What is it?
mm,
Okay. We have in Indonesia we have about 6 million student goes to primary school. Okay, very normal. 6 million goes to primary school. Only 600,000 receive their bachelor degree every year. So 6 million in, out 600,000. So
mm,
the education system is actually guarantee only 10% of Indonesian will be educated. The 90% will
okay,
be dumb. Sorry. So if the education minister use this kind of business as usual, so the AI will be remain the same like that. We have to change how it works. Then
But the change does not necessarily need to reflect the current mindset of the developed countries, right? I mean, Indonesia is creative on its own. So if the changes happen, then those changes should take place on Indonesia's terms, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Not modeling the West.
yeah. Agree with you on that side. Yeah, but
So so how would
the problem is with
sorry,
the
go ahead.
education level. There, so actually the mindset, the way of thinking is very close related to their education level. If their level is already primary school, forget it. They don't care.
mm.
What would an Indonesian what would a uniquely Indonesian AI look like to you, Pak?
Uniquely Indonesian AI look like. Uh, to be honest, what we actually use AI mostly, uh, the way I see it, is the online store right now. It's not much different with the West actually, but that's how it's look like. They try to monetize the data for the advertisement basically, so they make money. Uh, in I talked to Ibrahim Ibam. He was the vice president of Bukalapak, and he told me in the past they make money about 12 a couple lah, couple trillion rupiah per month transaction, not make money, transaction. And using AI, using the associative method of AI, then they can let people knows if they order something and people Bukalapak tell people, okay, other people also order these things. Okay, this is association process, and then having this application built, and they make about 100 billion additional rupiah. So that kind of thing. So at the moment we see those things on AI. The other is more
Mm.
googling, Google stuff and Facebook stuff.
Do you think, Pak, that I know this can be a sensitive issue, given Indonesia's history, but do you think that even using e-commerce sites like Bukalapak,
Hmm?
um, that service should go beyond Bahasa Indonesia? It should be done in local dialects, whether it's Javanese or Maduris or any of those to serve the regions better.
To be honest, I lost my own local dialects.
Mm.
So because the government enforced us to use Indonesian language, many of the local dialect lost actually. So I am a Javanese. Javanese. I cannot speak Javanese anymore.
Saya orang Jawa juga, Pak.
Oh, okay.
But I can only count to 10 and not very well.
You can count. I cannot count. So I have more words than you.
But do you think, Pak, like if they want to leverage on some of these regions, they like stores like Bukalapak and Tokopedia, um, do you think they would be better served if they have their services
In local
in the
language?
local? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me check. To be honest, I don't know. Let me check on Play Store. Play Store. I think there are some local language. Misal, Padang. Padang.
Mm.
Lagu Padang. There is no local service like e-commerce. So this is like more song.
Mm.
If we install, it's likely the language will be Indonesian. So yeah, it's rare. Good question, but very rare.
Yeah.
I think because of the if we the calculation is very simple. If the number of user is small, the money can be generated from the application will be small. So because they are looking for money,
Mm.
they go for the most used language rather than to local language because they can go more international, not international, national wide.
Yeah. 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 Well,
Go ahead,
yeah,
Mark.
Uno. Yeah, Uno. I'm very sorry. Our office is closing in a few. We had a bell. We just heard the bell, but I'm very thank you so much for your
Oh, no
honesty,
problem.
your your brutality, your openness. I really no. I think underneath all the we had a very warm and jolly conversation, but I think it's this is one of the most impactful interviews we had so far for Indonesia
Oh,
about the
thank
current
you.
situation there. And you've mentioned that you have a colleague who works in the task force, in Thailand, and if you could, also in the Philippines or other parts of ASEAN, if you could connect us with them,
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
think that would be really interesting for us to really get, as you said, a holistic, you know,
Picture. Okay,
perspective,
okay.
yes, from this. But thank you. I will excuse myself from the call,
Sorry,
and
you're looking at the ASEAN or Asia?
sorry, ASEAN, Thailand,
Oh, okay,
our
okay.
family, ASEAN,
Not Japan, not
Philippines.
Korea, right?
No, no, no,
Okay,
no, no,
okay, okay,
no, no, no. This
okay,
is
okay,
this is an ASEAN affair. So
okay, okay, okay,
Southeast Asia,
okay,
Southeast
okay, okay,
Asia only.
okay,
So maraming salamat. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll stay in touch.
okay, okay, okay. Thank you,
Thanks,
thank you.
Mark.
Bye.
Um,
Bye.
oh no, I know you have to leave soon too. But I hope we can stay in touch with you if you have any question. If I have any questions,
Sure,
Mark has any
no
questions.
problem.
Your technical expertise has been so valuable to us. We've been talking at the policy level to others. So really understanding how some of these things work at the ground level is so helpful to us. So terima kasih banyak-banyak, Pak.
Sama-sama. Thank you, Bu Elina. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And
I will mail
I
you
look
about the
forward.
contact person then. Okay.
Okay, and please feel free to share your writings. I enjoy reading them. I learn so much from them, and I love this copy left concept.
One more additional information. Kancana at AIT,
Hmm.
she
Yes.
run lab. It's called
Okay.
Interlab at AIT, and she actually periodically run workshop, regional workshop. So actually,
Ah, okay.
Kancana has the more regional contact than me. So I will try
Okay.
to contact Kanchana, maybe her secretary or friend from AIT, to you. So hopefully you can contact them.
Thank you. And I think once this project is over, I'm going to sign up for some of your workshops too.
Oh, you can see it in YouTube actually. I record my
Oh, okay,
workshop
okay.
on YouTube. Don't worry.
Terima
But it's
kasih,
very
Pak.
very technical, eh? Very technical.
I should learn some technical things.
Thank you. Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Bu Elina.
Thank you.
Okay,
Have a
okay,
good
bye
day.
bye.
Bye.
Okay.